when you face with challenges, we got to respond. So our team needs to respond. And, we've got a lot of work to do against a really good opponent who's playing at a really high level. We've beaten the last two teams that beat us, both Iowa and Wisconsin. Defense is aggressive. I think been ranked number one in the country. Done a great job, and offensively, really good running back. Quarterback's come in and done a good job. Going to their place is always going to be difficult. So we got our hands full. Our guys understand that, but that's life in our conference, and we've got to dig deep and work hard to improve, and not feel sorry for ourselves. We've got to dig ourselves out of a hole and work hard to get better.
Yeah, Coach. After after getting a chance to kind of analyze the film a little bit, how would you evaluate just some of the things that are going wrong for Aiden O'Connell in this previous game? And when you're coaching a guy with as much experience as him, how do you move forward, I guess, trying to correct those mistakes, but also maybe trying to get him to kind of flush some of the negatives and get back to what's made him so successful in the past?
Well, like everything, I think it's a combination of things. As you look back on it, it wasn't ideal conditions to throw, which is going to take off the ability to be precise in the passing game. So they may have asked him to throw too much, I guess. As you look around, Ohio State threw for 60 yards and won a game in similar conditions and relied on the running game. So it means that we've got to be better, and I have to be better at doing things in not ideal situations. We have not played well in bad elements. Even my brother Brian told me a story in the CFL and key playoff game when they had Henry Burris, who was the all CFL quarterback, and bad conditions were coming. Real bad conditions. They played their backup, who was a running quarterback the entire game, won the game, and didn't play him at all. Not that we would go to that extreme, but you've got to be smart and make sure that you're doing things that are capable of being done. Now, at the same time, yes, he could have played better, and the interceptions cost us, and he just missed by a little bit. Sometimes the elements affect that. Sometimes being able to have patience in the pocket affects it. It's a combination of all those things. We were able to move the ball at times early on, and the drive stalled, and we weren't good on third down converting. They were able to get up and guard us, and we weren't precise throwing the ball. And then unfortunately, we had way too many guys open for them early on for easy touchdowns. And for us to win last year, we were better as an overall team. We've got to play better as an overall team. All three segments have to do their part, or we're not going to win the game.
And then just falling behind the last two games, at Wisconsin, obviously on Saturday against Iowa as well, it kind of left your defense more susceptible to the ground game of both the Badgers and the Hawkeyes. Illinois, obviously a similar team. They want to run the ball. Chase Brown, the running back, one of the best in the Big Ten. How important is it going to be to just kind of get that early lead and get your defense in a favorable position to get them back to stopping the run the way they did in the first 7 games of the season?
Well, it's always important to get the lead, but we have to be able to win games when we don't get the lead, and that hasn't happened. We've got to be able to stop the run against good running teams, which we're facing now, and that needs to be more consistent. Really, wide open guys in the passing game is what has really crushed us. That has to stop. So it's a combination of coaching and putting them in the best position to do a better job, and that's on us. We've got to do a better job of that and making sure that doesn't happen. You can't give up easy touchdowns. Our guys play hard. It's on us to get that fixed. And as far as getting the lead, we've got to be efficient. We can't turn it over. But whether we have the lead or not, we've got to figure out a way to win when we don't, and that has not happened.
Jeff, you talked about the issues that persist in the secondary. I'm sure you're shuffling personnel. I'm sure you've emptied your idea bucket. Is there anything that can be done 10 games in that could maybe shore that unit up back there?
Yeah, I think there is, and that's for us to figure out and get done. And I do think that we have not done a good enough job, including myself, to put them in the best position to succeed. So there are some things, and I don't want to give away everything that we need to do different, but man coverage has hurt us. Man coverage without extra linebackers helping for crossers and middle of the field throws has hurt us. Times we've blitzed with no help has crushed us. There have been some times where we had a check or two on defense that did not get fully communicated across the board, which has hurt us more than a few times. So that needs to stop. And we need to play what we have called. And there are just a multitude of small things that, yes, we need to do a better job to put our players in the position to succeed and help them play better. And that's our job to get that done.
I noticed Cam Allen did not start Saturday. Will that continue to be the case?
Well, everybody, I think, from myself on down, needs to pick it up and be more efficient and coach better and play better. Everybody struggles at times. I think we can help Cam Allen play better and get back to playing the way he's capable of. Now we have to all be willing tacklers and be in the right spot when we do have a certain call made. And if not, we're gonna rotate guys around quite a bit. But I think, we can play better. We need to play better. We can help our guys hopefully get that done. Now, we're going to face a good team and we're going to be challenged, so we've got to step up to the plate and find a way to get it done.
Obviously, Charlie's the best receiver and the guy who typically always gets open. There's a comfort level with Aiden, but just having said all that, do you still think that Aiden looks to Charlie too much? The targets it seem like they're out of sight every week.
Well, it could always be a possibility. We've got to continue to work to spread the ball around. All of our guys need to find ways to get open. There were multiple times that we didn't gain much separation. And sometimes Aiden will press and go to a guy that he trusts a little bit more. And sometimes he's actually right, going to a little bit more. Sometimes he's not. So yes, continuing to improve that group, possibly continuing to find ways to get some yardage on the ground, continuing to find ways to get touchdowns when we got inside. I did a bad job of that, running the football and being physical there. But definitely there's a lot of things that, small things that add up that can cause you to be very efficient in that happen.
Is Aiden's health affecting his play?
I don't think so. I think that he could probably be pressing too much at times. I think maybe in those conditions we may have asked the passing game to be too precise, and we didn't get open a whole lot. And when we did, they found a way to grab us on double moves and just go get the pass interference and not give up the big play. So it's just a combination of things. I think Aiden knows he can play better, and we're going to try to help him play better.
Brendan Cropsey, I think, took the last punt. Is there, I guess, now a competition at punter? What was the thinking there?
Jack's been nicked up, unfortunately, and some type of tendonitis, something in his knee that got worse as the week went on. So going into the game, we knew we could play both, and then I think towards the end we just got Cropsey in.
You brought it up earlier, but why do you think your teams have struggled in inclement weather situations?
Well, I think that when you're a precision passing team, that's not going to be as effective. So in those conditions, you have to have a sound running game. You have to be committed to the running game. When you do throw it, it has to be some type of easy completion that isn't going to be stuck up in the wind very much. You've got to be really good on defense, and I'll take the blame for that. We had thoughts of going with a multi-quarterback package and had some of that ready. We did not choose to use it during the game, but probably should have.
Could that be in play this week?
Well, as I look forward, I don't know what the weather's going to be. It did look great during the week, and then cold and real windy during Saturday. So yes, everything will be in play.
With Illinois' running back Chase Brown, how does he stack up with a couple of running backs that you faced here the last two games?
Well, he's done an outstanding job. He's one of the best in the country. Their offensive line is big and physical. They've done a good job running the football, and that's kind of their strength. They've won the country in defense and a really sound running game, and just been efficient enough in the passing game with a couple of good speed receivers. That's why they're playing well. So, but he's tough. He's been tough. He's physical. He's got good hands. We're going to have to figure out a way to keep him in check. Or it could be a long day.
Just 2 of 16 on third down. Is that more of a byproduct of what didn't happen on first and second down Saturday?
Well, on third down, that's when they got up in our face and challenged us, and we weren't able to win one-on-one battles. And when we did, we weren't precise enough to complete the pass in those conditions. So as you look back on it, we need to run the ball more on third down.
Charlie doesn't have a lot of yards after the catch the last 2 games. Is that our defense is playing him a little bit differently, or is there something else where he just can't get away from defenders, or kind of how do you sum up what's happened there?
Well, I think Charlie has played very hard. He's been very tough. He's been limited more in practice than we've ever had a receiver be limited. But we've got to do what we can to get into the game. I think that hurts him. He has more, probably, from what I saw, contested catches than anybody in the country. So that means he's not getting relevant. So there's not as much room to run. So whether or not it's his strength or not, it's just a combination of a lot of things. They're trying to get up and guard him in his face, and he's working hard to get open and catching balls. But when he's the focal point, he's going to demand a lot of attention, and we've got to improve in areas around him.
It's always dangerous asking you a big picture question, but despite the 2 losses and despite what's happened, you're still in a position to achieve one of your goals coming up this week. Do you even attempt to motivate your team, or how do you address that with your team, if at all?
We brought it up briefly last week. Obviously, that didn't work. So we're going to get right back to our only goal is to win the game and play better football. And we've got to do it against a team that's really hot. I know they lost last week, but they've been playing really good football last year. We had to score on the last drive to come back and win. As we go back and look, really last year against us was the first game that they brought out this new style of defense that they're playing, which is somewhat of a 5-1 package, which guys stacked on the line of scrimmage. But that's the first game they ever played it against us. And they mixed it in, and it was very effective. And then from there, they've taken it, and really that's almost all they run at this point. They're that good at it. So it presents challenges. It's going to cause you to have to figure out a way to run some, but they're going to load the box and make you throw the football more than you like normally. But they have a lot of mixtures off of it. So this is something we've studied a lot, because it's basically what they ran the entire year. And after our game last year, they started running more, helped them upset Penn State, and played a lot of other really good teams. So they've just done a good job with this style of defense, and now they've got really efficient quarterback play with the transfer and an outstanding running game. So when you have that, it makes for a really good team.
Why do you think it has worked for them?
Well, it's a good scheme, in my opinion. We've studied it, really haven't. We ran it just a couple times this past week. It works because like I said, they've got guys up on the line of scrimmage, guys in the box. It's hard to run against. And when you pass, you got to get it out faster, because they've got a lot of guys up there coming after the quarterback. And their secondary's played well. They don't press a lot, so that you don't get an easy completion, but they're going to play off and a little bit of catch technique and sit on some routes and make you double move them. And like we did with the last team, they grabbed us every time we did and just took the PI. You have to be patient enough to figure out a way to get something over the top. So it's just been very efficient for them this year. They've shut down teams, and to be ranked #1 in the country in total defense, you're doing something really good.
Any update on King DeRue or Chris Jefferson?
Chris will not be available this game, and King, I as of right now, probably not.
Any other questions? Brian?
So some of the success you've had against Iowa over the years, you've been able to get them deep down the sideline, things like that. It seemed like they got everything funneled to the middle of the field. Is that anything they did schematically different from what they've done in the past? Was that the conditions? What all kind of went into that?
Well, as you look at it, they blitzed us less in this game. Last year, they blitzed us a little more and gave us single coverage on the outside, and we were able to hit quite a few things. This game, especially when they got the lead, they cover you down with two safeties behind them, get up in your face because they know they have help, and that makes it hard to pass against. And we've always known that. Last year, I was surprised they came after us as much, and it helped us quite a bit. And of course, they probably did because we got the lead, and they wanted to be more aggressive. This year, they got to play their base system, and you have to be able to run the ball against that. You just have to be able to do it. You're not gonna. There's a reason they're in the top 5 in the country every year in defense, with good players, but they're not getting the 5-star players. They're getting the most out of their guys. They're very sound in what they do. They keep it in front. They challenge routes. They know where their help is. Too high looks. They walk out with the slot receivers all the way, get up in their face, and cause you to work hard to get open. So, yes, they did a good job. And yes, in those conditions, the holes were small, and we weren't able to hit the few we had, and it was not a good day for us.
At the start of the year, it seemed like you wanted to involve Elijah Kenyon in a very specific sort of condensed field role. Is he going to be back this season?
Doesn't look like it. So there's been quite a, not quite a few. There's guys that haven't no play for us. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
You mentioned before the importance for this team of going on and getting the lead first and not falling behind early. How does that factor into your approach on those first few drives?
Well, we talked about that, and that is important. We were able to move the ball early, got stopped on 3rd down a couple times, getting yards, and then got down. And then from there, that's when we turned it over the first time, which caused them to score the second time they touched it, went up 14-0. And then we got down in the red zone again, threw another interception, and that made for a long day. Now, like I said earlier, that's the perfect world, but we have to be able to win when we don't get the lead. And that we have not been good at, so we have to get better at it. And it's just the way it is. We've got to have a better plan. We've got to be tougher. We've got to fight through it. We've got to not make mistakes. We've got to continue to eliminate. Well, we got to try to eliminate as many big plays as we can and get touchdowns. So it's just a combination of all those things. We have a lot to work on, and we've got to man up and see how tough that we possibly can be, because it's going to take everybody pulling together to try to get it done.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Jeff?